two other types of torque wrenches that there are. That one there's a click style. When you reach the torque, it actually clicks and you should stop. If you want to see how much a little extra is, we've got a torque wrench calibrator here on campus, right out here in this building. And I have people, especially in my program, that they go until it clicks and then they want to give it just a little bit more. Just bump it. I want that little extra. And so what I do is I take them out there and I give them a torque wrench and I have them go until it clicks and then give it a little extra. And the machine will calibrate what your little bit of extra is. And let's say you're trying to torque something to 50 pounds, give it a little extra. Usually it's down around 100 foot-pounds. So you pretty much double with your little extra. If you're trying to go to 150 and you go to a little extra, you may reach actually 300 foot-pounds extra. And there's a pretty substantial difference between 50 and 100. There's a lot of difference between 50 and 70. And so with a click style, when it clicks, it's very important that you stop when it clicks because that's the calibrated torque that's there. The other secret with any torque wrench is you have to be moving when that thing clicks. If I'm torquing something and I have to reposition my hand and when I go to move again it clicks, you need to back it off and it needs to be moving when you come up and reach the torque. Because one of your questions was, how much torque does it take to overcome friction and get a bolt moving? It was 90%. It takes 90% of your applied effort just to get the bolt in motion. And if I'm just trying to get it in motion, I'm not going to actually be torquing it properly. So it has to be in motion, nice, smooth, even motion. When it clicks, stop. This particular one here doesn't click. And so you actually have to read it. It's got a handle that pivots. That's because it measures from the center of this to the center of this handle. That's 1 foot. So it's the amount of torque applied or pressure applied 1 foot between these two. If you twist this handle and I push this handle up over here, what's going to happen is I'm actually changing this from here to here now, not from here to here. So now I have 10 inches with so many foot-pounds of pressure versus 12 inches and so many foot-pounds of pressure. So you got to be careful that you're not one way or the other. That's what the secret is here. And you have to actually read it. It's not very nice. They're not as user-friendly. But if you're doing like reels and you're trying to set rolling torque, you have to use this style or this dial style, which is doing the same thing. When I actually turn, put pressure on it, the dial just shows the applied force that you're applying. You want to pass those around? The other thing about a torque wrench that most people don't pay attention to is you want to make sure that you pull with a nice sweeping motion. Most of you got that. The other thing is how you grip it with your hand. You want to make sure that you're straight up and down. And what I'll see is people torquing, they'll grab the head and squeeze it to help support themselves. And they'll be applying. When you do that, you're actually putting resistance on this head. You're changing your torque. So you want to use an open palm. You can't use one hand. A bunch of people said use one-handed. If you try to go one hand, it's going to slip off. And so you need to support it. Put this hand against it so it doesn't roll off, but don't squeeze it. When you squeeze it, you're changing your torque value. And so let it roll against your hand, and when it clicks, stop. You can add 7 feet of extension straight down on this torque wrench and it does not change the torque. If you change the distance from the center, it changes it. So it doesn't matter if you add extensions as long as they're straight up and down. If you add a wobbly that comes over here, then you're going to change it. So just keep that in mind. This one's like $120, $130. A good one, like a Snap-on, a Mac, a Matco, they're going to be between $100 and $300. So they're a precision instrument. They're going to cost more money.